Hey guys, and welcome back to my CCNA 200-301 course. Patrice is here, and in this video, I'm going to show you how you can set up a wireless LAN using a wireless LAN controller and secure it with WPA2. Are you ready? Let's get started. We spoke about the wireless basics in videos 33 to 35, and I spoke about different operating systems that can be run on Cisco wireless LAN controllers, etc., etc. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can configure a wireless LAN using a 9800 series wireless LAN controller, which is the most recent line of products of Cisco for wireless LAN controllers. And you can see them on Cisco's website. If I go to Cisco website, you can see this is the list of all 9800 series. The one I'm using in my emulation environment is this version, which is a cloud version, and you can implement it in VMware, Hyper-V, and even on clouds like AWS, Azure, etc. For whatever reason, in Cisco official set guide, they have used the old AeroS version that was running on 5500, 2500 versions, etc. And all of those screenshots you can see in the Cisco official cert guide belongs to that old version which has been deprecated. So I'm using 9800, which is the most recent one. The concepts are the same, but how-tos are a bit different because Cisco kind of changed the wireless management interface in 9800 series. Let's go to 9800 and see how we can configure a wireless LAN using WPA2. As I said, I implemented that image, that cloud version image in EVE-NG. So this is my wireless LAN controller. And Gigabit 2 is connected to the management network, so I can manage it and connect to its web interface. And this interface is our kind of wireless interface, and I connected it to a switch. So if this is a practical or your network, your access points should be connected here, and you have to configure your DHCP servers to give option 43 to wireless access point and let them know that who is their wireless LAN controller, so they can register themselves in the wireless LAN controller, so you can configure them from this single pane of glass. Unfortunately, I don't have a compatible wireless access point for this, but our main purpose here is to create this wireless LAN on the controller. The management IP address for my wireless LAN controller is 192.168.1.104. And as you know that, and I mentioned before, on 9800 series, the iOS that is running on it, or the OS that is running on it, is iOS XE. So you can manage things through CLI and also GUI, but based on the CCNA topics, you just need to know how you can do it through the GUI. Like any other Cisco devices, what I need to do initially was to assign an IP address to the interface. So I went to interface VLAN 2 and assigned this IP address through my DHCP server. And also I created the username and the password to be able to log into it. And so, and also for web GUI, you have to let the device know that how you want to do the authentication for HTTP. So I ran this command as well, IP HTTP authentication local, to be able to use this username. And so now if I go to my switch, my WLC, and use the same credentials, I'm able to log into this device. When you log in for the first time, it asks you some general questions about what hostname you want to set, etc., etc. But we went through that, and that initial setup has been done. and I'm just going to do through creating that wireless setup. The main thing you need to know is the overall approach of creating wireless LANs have been changed in a 9800 series. To have a better vision, if I go to configuration here and down in wireless setup, if I go to advanced, there is a nice diagram that shows you how you should set up your wireless LANs. So as you can see, you have different tags and profiles, and you have to create different set of tags and profiles. So for your WLAN policy, as you can see, it is mandatory. So you have to create your wireless LAN profile, and policy tag. But the others are optional. Some of them have some default profiles and tags you can use. And so these are the things. And once you create different pieces of the puzzles, then you apply them or put that tag on your desired access point, and then that access point will broadcast your SSID, will handle the sender request to WLC for authentication, etc., etc. And 9800 series, I think since version 17.3, they have some sort of very nice built-in helping manuals. One of them is here. So it is an interactive help. So wherever you go, you can click here and it shows you different things you can do in that page and walk you through. It can shows you how you can do the things. And also, as you can see here, there is a show me how as well. This is an awesome feature that can help you to go through different setups and makes it too easy to configure different setups. You have two options: create these things manually and then associate them. And also there is an option to use a wizard. If you click on this icon here, you can see that there is a wireless setup option, and you have two options. You want to do a basic setup or you want to do an advanced setup. What we need for CCNA is just a basic setup. And if you want to go through the advanced, feel free to do that. But I'm just going to use the basic setup wizard. And as you can see here, you have the option to click on add. And also this show me how is a very nice thing. If I click here, you can see that it starts a kind of helping wizard and ask you that, okay, let's configure a wireless LAN and its security policies. You can use an existing WLAN as well. So we click on next and it shows us how you should start. You can see that it clicks on configure and shows you WLAN profile. And here it shows you, it asks you actually if you want to create a new WLAN or you want to use an existing WLAN. And if I click on create a new WLAN, it tells you where you should start. And you have to start from here, clicking on add. And it starts to walk you through different steps as well. So enter profile name, next, 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 and it shows you the whole procedure. But I don't want to go through this, show me how. So we start from here and we go through the basic and we start the thing. But before doing that, the only thing you may need to configure is the VLAN for your wireless LAN. So if you go to configuration and layer 2, I mean interface, layer 2, and then VLAN, you can see the VLANs that have been defined here. If you need a specific VLAN for your specific WLAN you want to create, you have to create your VLAN here because we need to use this VLAN in our settings. So I created VLAN ID 3 and named it Learnet WLAN, and it is active. And obviously this VLAN, or this WLAN, sorry, the VLAN in the WLAN controller has to be allowed on this trunk from your wireless LAN controller to your switch. So this interface has to be configured as a trunk and should allow VLAN 3 to go through, and also on the other side. So this VLAN can be active and your wireless clients can use that VLAN to communicate to your network. Once you create this VLAN, then we go to our basic setup again and click on add. I give it a name. It is your location name. Okay. I said, for example, learnet-location, and then the description, like same thing, location, and how many or what is the density of your clients, low, high, typical. We use typical. Then we go to wireless networks tab, and here we're actually creating our WLAN. So we say define new because we haven't configured a new WLAN. So we define a new WLAN and we call this learnet-WLAN-profile. And what is the SSID you want to use? This will be the SSID that your users will be able to see it and connect to it. Which ID you want to use? This is WLAN ID. Don't confuse it with VLAN ID. This is the ID of your WLAN inside your controller. Do you want to have this disabled? I want to have it enabled. And do you want to have it broadcasted or not? Well, obviously you want it to be enabled and broadcast, or unless there's a security requirement that your SSID doesn't have to be or shouldn't broadcast. So you have to disable this and get the users to manually put the SSID. And then we go to security tab. This is where we actually configure WPA2. So you have two options for WPA2. WPA plus WPA2 or WPA2 plus WPA3. And as we mentioned before, obviously using WPA2 and 3 is more secure. So we go here. One thing I want you to do is, based on the Cisco recommendation, is disabling this WPA3 policy. And here you can select your encryption algorithm, depends on what you want to use. We'll be using AES. And also here, since we don't want to use the WPA2 in enterprise mode and using radio servers, etc., we untick this and instead we'll be clicking on PSK or pre-shared key. And here you can create your password or pre-shared key you want to use as your password to connect to this WLAN. So for example, I say learnet @123, and then you apply these settings to the device. And do you want to create a new policy or select an existing policy? So if you click here, you can see that there is a default policy profile. You can use it, or you can use, you can create a new policy for yourself as well. So here, this is your VLAN. You spoke about it. You set your VLAN here, and also you select which QoS class, which has been defined in the WLC, sorry. You want to assign to this WLAN based on the priority of this WLAN, or you can create a separate or customized QoS profile and assign it to your WLAN here. And also make sure all of these options are on and you want to use the central DHCP, central switching, central authentication, and central association. And we click on add here, and this has been created. The last step is AP provisioning, which is not possible for us to do because we don't have any AP that is registered here. The only thing you need to do here is find your AP here. If your access point has been registered here, you just need to select it and click on this arrow to add it to this location, which is that LANet, that location we just created. So with this setting, all of those policies, settings, profiles, tags we created, they will be applied on the AP, and access point actually will broadcast that SSID, or if you have multiple SSIDs, will broadcast all different SSIDs based and apply all settings you just configured here. So you just click on apply, and this will create our LANet location as the WLAN with all of those profiles and basic tags you need to have this WLAN configured. Now I want to show you where these things have been configured. So if you need to change them, or if you want to create them manually, where you need to do that. If you want to create those tags and profiles by yourself and do the associations manually rather than using the wizard, either the basic or advanced, you have to go to configuration, and here is the list of tags and profiles you can create. You can see that there is heaps of options. What we did was using the default policy here, and we just changed the VLAN that is being assigned to this policy. Maybe you don't want to do this and change the default policy settings just in case to have a default setting somewhere, so you can always review to see what is the default values, etc. But this is just a demonstration video, so we just changed it here. You saw that there was just 4 options when we did the configuration because it was a basic setup, and these were the configurations we just had there. But you can see that there is heaps of other options here that you can change. And if you go to access policies here, you have a lot of options applying WLAN ACLs, if you have wireless filters, URL filters, and lots of other things. What we just changed was this VLAN that has been assigned to this policy. And also there is a separate tab for QoS if you want to set a very granular setup for QoS, you can do it here. Also, if this is the guest Wi-Fi and you want to anchor it to an external wireless LAN controller, you can configure the mobility here. And also there is other heaps of options: WLAN timeout, what is the session timeout, idle timeout, and you can see that there is a lot of options here that you can set for your WLAN, which is the out of the scope of CCNA. And also the WLAN profile we created here was this one. And so you can see that if we click here, there is other heaps of options here you can configure. These were available in the initial one. And also layer 3 if you want to use web policies, etc. Or if you want to use 802.1x, you can configure your AAA servers and assign them here. And also lots of different setups for your wireless profile. And this is where actually you assign this profile to that policy we just saw. So you have to correlate your profile, your WLAN profile, to that policy profile you created. And the final thing you need to do that is impossible for me to do is actually going to access points, and once you have your access point registered in the WLC, you just need to select your access point and there would be a gearbox on the left side of the AP, and you just click on that gearbox, and then you associate your policies to this access point, and then your access point will have the policy tag and the site tag, and if you have configured RF tag, those things you need to associate them with the right tags you configured in the tags and profiles, and then that access point will work based on your configuration. All right, guys, this was our today's video. In today's video, we covered exam topic 5.10, configure and verify WLAN within the GUI using WPA2 PSK. And in the upcoming video, we'll be talking about automation basics. I wish you enjoyed today's video and see you in the next ones.